Happy Wednesday, ladies. It is our training day. I'm 12 minutes late. Crazy morning. And I was on phone calls with various different clients and unexpectedly. So here I am. I am excited to be with you today. We are officially in our Plant Power Challenge. If you have friends in this group, hey, Melissa. Oh my gosh, Alyssa, I'm glad you're here. I think this is the first time I've had you live. That's exciting. We are talking about plants this month, and it is our Plant Power Challenge. And if those of you that may not have seen already, every day for the 30 days in April, I will actually be posting at 8 o'clock every morning. There is a plant-based recipe that is posted in the group. And what you can do is you can save it. So if you click on the right, on your post at the top right, there's three little dots, I think it is. You click on it and you can save post. And then it actually allows you to create a file, and you can actually put recipes or Kristen posts or whatever it is. I have tons of different files, and it saves into that, and you can easily go back to it. And then if you really like it, what I recommend is that you print it out. So I don't print any recipes out because I make sure I like them before I print them out. If you have a printer, that is. And you can also, I do 3 of the recipes, not 3, but 3 of the websites that I use. I have their cookbooks. Oh, She Glows is one of them I use all the time. I have her 3 cookbooks. I think there's also the Love and Lemons. There's a couple there, and there's Vegan 8 I might have used. Vegan 8 is a good one as well. But remember, you don't have to be fully vegan, plant-based to eat these recipes. It's very, very beneficial for our body to make sure that we are adding in more plants on a daily basis. So as I mentioned, as you've heard me say before, that greens, we need more greens. We don't get enough greens, and greens are very alkalizing for the body. Greens are so good for us. And so if you can even just look at, on my Facebook page, I did a video yesterday or the day before, and I talked about how you can just add more plants into your everyday. So choose a meal, right? If you want to do this month, do your own challenge and do a green smoothie every day for the month of April. You will notice a difference for sure. Make sure that it's not mostly fruit. It should be 80% green. Now, when you're first starting out, the key is that, yes, you need to get your palate used to green. Green is typically more bitter tasting. Our liver loves bitter. Okay, so it's very important that we are feeding our body more bitter foods. Say more green foods, not just broccoli, but yes, we need broccoli and Brussels sprouts and all of those green foods, cucumbers, but we do need dark leafy greens, because dark leafy greens are very high in protein. All of the largest animals on the planet, that's where they get their protein from. Okay, so this is a clean burning protein. It's a clean fuel, which means that our body is not going to be producing tons of toxins like we will experience with animal products. Plants are clean fuel, okay? God created plants for us to eat. That's why we have the teeth that we do. Like if you look at animals, dogs, for example, they have like sharp teeth, and their teeth are there because, well, they need those teeth to actually rip up meat, right? And chew up meat. And their digestive systems actually are different than ours as well. They're actually very short. And so, because it takes a really, really long time to eat meat. Now, if you're not quite there yet, I'm not saying that you have to go completely plant-based. Absolutely not. You have to, it's your journey. You have to decide what works for you, but you want to listen to your body as well. Yeah, you want to listen to your body. So, okay, so we are talking more about, hold on, let me grab some water. This is one of those days where, you know, when you get busy and you realize that you have not drank enough water, that would be one of those days. It's 11:20, and this is my 2nd liter, when normally I'd be on my 3rd liter by now. So when I start to yawn, you guys have seen me do that on these calls at like in the morning. When I start to yawn, that is the sign. I know that that's a sign that I need more water. So that because remember, dehydration the first sign is hunger and or being tired is dehydration. So I know when I start yawning in the morning and I'm not necessarily tired, or if I start to feel tired, it's not a tired like I need to go to bed. It's a tired of, you know, I need more, I need to make sure I'm not dehydrated. Give me 1 second here. All right, so I told you guys a long time ago that I have a book that I've wanted to show you. Every time I do some sort of a live, the book usually comes up. I could not find it because I have so many books. It's crazy. I found the book. Now, we're moving in less than a month. I'm not sure where yet, but God will find us a place. But we are moving. We have to move out of the house that we're living in right now. So we're not quite ready to buy our next house yet. So we will go to another rental house for now. So thankfully I found it, because you just never know when you move where things end up, right? So this book here, I've had this book, it's called Eating for Beauty. I've had this book for years. I mean, I could probably do so many different Facebook lessons on this book, which I probably will do small ones here and there, but I wanted to show you, as we're talking about the power of plants, the power of whole. I'm going to say the power of plants. No, yes, there's power in whole food, absolutely. But plants, when I'm talking about plants, you know, many times we think about the plants that we're eating in terms of the greens and the, you know, vegetables. But I'm also talking about plants as in legumes and whole grains like hemp seeds and chia seeds. That would be all in the plant category as well. So this book here, I want to show you what the foods that we're eating that are, you know, like asparagus or any of the fruits and vegetables, they are living. Okay, so I have a mango here. Okay, this mango is a whole food. Okay, this mango is living. This mango is raw. And when we cook foods, okay, it actually destroys the enzymes in the raw food. Same with this half a lime here, okay? This is a fresh lime. If I was to put this over a heat, this lime would actually, the enzymes would be destroyed, and also the nutrients would be destroyed as well. So when we cook food, it destroys the nutrients, okay? That's why it's better to cook food. I'm not saying we shouldn't eat food, especially wintertime. We need to eat more warming foods, right? Warming spices, right? Now that spring is here, our bodies will start to crave, as the weather becomes warmer, crave cooler foods, more hydrating foods, more salads, that sort of thing. And so understand that this mango is exactly the way it was created in nature. So when we eat this mango, we are getting the nutrients. Now, of course, there's also, you know, the soil and what's going on in the soil and the depletion and all of that. The vitamin, you know, being picked from Mexico, you know, my question is, well, it would have had to be picked green. The nutrients are not in the fruit or the vegetable green. Okay? Melissa, I will answer. That's a good question. I will answer that momentarily. It's picked when it's green. Okay? Do you know that all of the nutrients that's in a tomato, that's in a whatever it comes into the fruit or the vegetable in the last 48 hours of ripening. So when we're getting our food here in Canada, especially those of you in the States that are listening, you have it a little bit different depending on where you are. But we get a lot of our food, especially in the wintertime, overseas. But guess what that means? We are missing out on the nutrients because it's being picked green, because they have to pick it green, because if they picked it when it was like this, by the time we get it, it's going to be rotten, right? So yes, we have mangoes and it's raw and fresh, but we are not getting all the nutrients, right? And that's why you guys have heard me a gazillion times, and you'll hear me a gazillion times talk about why we need to fill the gaps. Nutrition is number one, getting it in through food, and number two, it's massive important to fill in the gaps, right? And that's why I talk about Soul Life and Juice Plus. So we have to remember that the raw, uncooked, unsteamed, unmicrowave food is the best. Okay, so that's why when you're eating your meals that are cooked, it's very important that you also have, hey ladies, definitely say hello in the comments, give me emojis. I love to see comments here, so say hello. Because I see eyeballs and I see the hearts and stuff, and I see different faces, so that's awesome. Thank you for being here. So with your cooked meals, I really encourage you to start making sure that you have raw food in there, right? Like raw salad, right? I mean, you're probably not going to cook salad, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So make sure, hi Julia, make sure that you are getting raw, okay? So I want to show you something, what the power of plants. Now, the power of plants, you know what, ladies? Honestly, this is a big, huge topic. And just like I've said in so many other, my Wednesday live trainings, is many times this, I kind of hit the tip of the iceberg, and then I got to come back in and do little snippets kind of here and there. That's why you always make sure what you do on the top of the Facebook group, there's 3 little dots, click it, and then I think it's more. And then you can actually hit the notifications and see all posts. Otherwise, if you're not active in this group, what will happen is Facebook won't show you anything that we're doing in here. So definitely you want to hit to be able to know to hit your notifications to make sure you're being notified of, say, when I go live. Because at least if you know and you can't listen, you can listen to the recording. Okay, because there's all these little tiny talks I'll do in between at random times that are really good tidbits. Okay, so I want to show you something here. I want to show you a cooked asparagus versus a raw asparagus, and I'm also going to show you some other actually, I'm going to show you a kiwi as well. Oh, there's some really good pictures here. Pictures speak 1,000 words. So, number 1. Raw is going to be best. If you have gut issues and there's stuff going on in your gut, you would do better by making sure that majority of your, like say broccoli and cauliflower and those cruciferous are broken down by steaming. Okay, so if I'm working with somebody, I'll show you in a moment, Julia. If I'm working with somebody and they have major gut issues, I'm not going to be giving them a ton of raw food. I'm not going to be giving them a ton of kale and all of that because they can't digest it. And if you're not digesting it, you're not absorbing it. So I will make sure that they're steaming. Okay, so steaming is good. However, we want a combination, right? So we never want to microwave produce. Never ever microwave anything, okay? It is very dangerous because it's microwaves. Right? Waves. So we've already seen this. You can even do your own experiment. We don't need peer-reviewed. In my opinion, we don't need peer-reviewed study on what the microwave does. It's microwaves. It's radiation, right? So it's going to change the molecular structure of that food. You eat it and your body's like, I don't know what this is. Just like when you eat genetically modified food. Your body doesn't know what it is. Anything genetically modified, anything. And there's a lot of foods that are being genetically modified nowadays. We have to be careful. If you see an apple that is like ginormous, apples don't grow ginormous, right? If you see, they make this like, even like I see cotton candy grapes and I'm like, is that normal? I don't know if that's the way God intended grapes to be. Like, I've never seen that before. So to me, that would be genetically modified, right? We can make anything taste like anything. You can make an apple taste like a banana. You could. All right. So it's really important if you're using a microwave to cook your food, I understand it's convenience. We live in a microwave society. Everything has got to be quick. But what is that doing to our health? You're not going to notice changes immediately. You're not. It's the slight edge. It's what you're doing over and over and over and over, right? 4 months, and your red blood cells have completely changed over in 4 months. So if you're taking something and you're like, well, I don't really notice a difference, I'm not going to take it. we have to remember it takes 4 months. Like it takes, if you are dealing with a health concern, it's taken a long time for your body to present that as a diagnosis, right? So I'm going to show you what your vegetables and fruit look like. Okay, so, and then I'm going to show you something else, something that will move us off into our alkalinity month, which is next month. So I want to show you. So this is called David Wolfe's book, Eating for Beauty. It's this is like, I don't even know what the year is, but I got this years ago. 2007. I don't even know if this is out anymore. Anyway, so this is asparagus. So the top one, the bottom one is raw asparagus. Now, I mean, when you look at it, you think, well, there's not that much of a difference, but there really is, because look at this vibrant energy. So one of the things that I want you guys to realize is that we are all energy, okay? Everything is energy. When we look at the table or the chairs or, this, everything, if you look in the realm that we can't see, okay, what we see, what we're seeing right now, that's solid matter. But if you look under a microscope, or like it will have to be like at an atomic level, we're all vibrating. Everything's vibrating. And that's why I say you want to move your body. You want to maybe jump on the rebounder, run, do something, move, because your cells need to be shaken up, because they're meant to move. When they sit there stagnant and say, we're not moving our lymphatic system, what then actually happens is our cells are sitting in their own waste, and they die when they don't have oxygen, and they don't have water, and they don't have movement. They die, right? And so then we start feeling that in lack of energy. We feel that in various ways, right? So look at the difference here. See this vibrant energy? Look at all that. But then after cooking, this was cooked organic asparagus. So this is organic, so it's cooked now. After cooking it, look what happens. It's less. Still vibrant, but it's less. Okay? So let me show you another picture. Oh, let me show you this first. So when we talk about the power of plants, I mean, I feel like I'm not even really getting, I want to create a webinar or something, or some training on the power of plants, because I talk to people all the time from all over the place, and people, I don't feel like, and it could be just me, and maybe I'm not really explaining it well enough, but when I'm, even more of the research I've been doing lately, that the power of plants is absolutely mind-boggling what they do in our body. Oh my goodness. Like, I mean, and this is why, like, we need to eat. We can't, as humans, we cannot eat enough of what we need. We can't. I mean, if you're eating a lot of greens, and you're eating greens 3 times a day, and you're taking greens powder, and you're taking this, and then yes, you're doing, but we can't get enough. And so, because of the soil, right? I've already talked about that. But the minerals in the plant food and the alkalinity, our body is thriving. It thrives in an alkaline environment. Yes, there's certain areas in your body that need to be acidic, but disease and like even cancer cells, do you know there's like an acidic around the cancer cell? There is an acidic waste around that cancer cell, or lactic acid around that cancer cell. So there's acid around it. Our cells do not thrive in acid, right? And if our immune system's not working well, then what happens is it can't fight that cell in your body that can potentially take over. It's like the enemy, right? So that's why our army needs to be strong. And that's why what I teach in this community that we have here is how you can be stronger. And it's so important. It's so important because as you get older, you're more susceptible to diseases that are out there, and conditions that are every day there's a new one, right? We do have to invest in our health, right? We do have to invest the time. We have to take that time, because it's we can't just, send a prayer out and, and just even believe. Like, I know my family believes that, there's nothing we can do. It's just the way it is. I'm like, no, it's not. There's lots we can do. It's just that's what people have been taught. So it's not their fault. It's not, you know, if you know people that are like that, we all do. It's not their fault. They've never been taught anything different. But then it's changing the beliefs that we have, because that's what our family believes. That's what we've seen and we've learned. And we also create, our beliefs come from what we've also seen, right? We've learned. And so we got to undo those beliefs. But one of the things I can say is, I encourage you, undo the belief. Undo the belief. This is why you want to be around people, like when it comes to health, for example, you want to be around people that are walking it, that are walking the talk. You want to be around people that are, you know, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, maybe, I don't know, maybe a few years ahead. You want to be around those people. It's like finances. You're not going to take advice from someone who's broke, right? You want to take advice and be around people that have achieved where you want to be. Right? That's where you're going to find the most success. Same with relationships. If you have only ever seen divorce in your family, and, you know, unhappy marriages or relationships or whatever, or a sibling tree, if that's even a word, right? You want to get a different picture that you can follow. So if you look at this is an alkaline chart. So this is our topic next month, but you know, it all goes hand in hand anyway. So look at the top of the alkaline. Green leaves. Top of the alkaline chart. Milk products. But I'm not saying they're still mucus forming. So yes, they're more alkaline, but they go in and they're acidic, right? Bone. What does that say? Oh, that says stems. Alkaline fruits and flowers. Neutral fruits and flowers. Slightly acidic. Slightly acidic is avocado and banana, but does that mean we don't eat them? No, because look at what's more, milk products are actually more alkaline initially, but then when you put them in you, they become acidic, right? So that's where we have to be careful. Like you hear, well, lemon is acidic, right? Lemon's acidic, but when you digest lemon, it digests into an alkaline ash. That's what we want. So you have to be careful. Avocados and bananas are good for us, right? I'm not on the belief of, if you have blood sugar issues, if you've got, you know, diabetes and those things going on, then we're going to look at food and when you're eating it and all of that stuff. But in general, bananas are good for you. If you have constipation issues, then bananas could be a culprit because they can be more binding. But it's just, we go on an individual basis. In general, avocados and bananas are good for you, right? So nuts and seeds can be more on the acidic side. Eggs and meat is at the bottom of the pole there, as you can see. Okay, so we'll talk more about alkalinity next month. But look at this organic watermelon. Look at that. Look at how vibrant and the energy of that. Right? Like that's just absolutely beautiful. Hold on, let me find some more pictures. Okay, here we go. So, I know I had a picture of, steaming, raw, and microwaved. Maybe it's not in this book, but I want to show you a raw commercial. This is a raw commercial kiwi. See the energy? And then this is a raw organic kiwi. Look at the difference. Look at the difference. So this is a raw conventional kiwi, and this is a raw organic kiwi. See the energy? This is in Kirlian photography. That shows what we can't see, right? So look at that. I mean, that's a difference. Now look at the difference, ladies. See the seeds? Look at here. You don't probably notice this. And now in the organic one, look at all the seeds. See the difference? That's a huge difference, okay? So that's why I tell people in terms of organic, it's not perfect. It is better than conventional, but it's not perfect. The soil is different, but yes, things blow and all of that. We know that, right? But I want you to actually see energetically and the vibration of these foods. Okay, so the same with Look at the mushroom. Conventional mushroom. Well, we can all agree that raw is better, right? And then we see a organic mushroom. Pretty cool, right? Darn it, I want you to see the picture. Oh my gosh, I had the picture of, so basically what the picture was, it was a picture of the raw, then steamed, and then microwaved. And what it showed was, well, the raw one like you saw, and then you saw the steam one I showed you earlier, and then the microwave one, guess how much little light flecks it had? Like pretty much nothing, like it was done. So, I mean, we can't ignore this, right, ladies? We can't ignore this. So when we're eating whole food, raw food, plant food, okay, especially when it's raw. Hey, Anna, would love to see that. I know, I don't know, I cannot remember where it was. Darn it. Anyways, when you're consuming plant food, and especially lots of the raw food, this food has the ability to transform who you are, right? Do you remember I was talking about, or maybe this was maybe in the nutrition class that I'm teaching on Thursday nights. It could be where I was talking. I know I was talking to these ladies about this, and that you are what you eat, but you're more what you absorb, digest, and absorb. Okay, so if you are not digesting your food, you are not absorbing your food. So you could be eating really well, but the thing is that you're not digesting it and you're not absorbing it. Yes, Sherry, I will if I can find it. I don't even remember, but it's been so long. But I will keep asking and searching. So I want you to think about, because sometimes we think that when we don't actually see changes immediately, right? Because it's not always immediate. When we don't see those changes or feel those changes immediately, what actually happens is we want to give up, right? One of the questions that I ask when people come into this group is, I ask them, what are their top concerns? What are the areas that they struggle with? And, of course I get a lot of the hormones and the energy, a lot of the common reasons why women are coming into this group. But a lot of what I hear a lot, and not even in this group, everywhere, is consistent habits and consistency, and that issue that people have, right? And so remember that when you're this month specifically, when we are focusing on putting more plant food in, I want you to shift the mindset around why you're doing this, okay? Because if you just you're thinking, yeah, it's a great idea. And you think it's a great idea, and that's great, because we need to think it's a great idea, or you wouldn't be in here. However, it's a lot more work. It's a lot more work. I remember a year and a half ago when we went fully plant-based. I mean, that's my preferred way of eating. It always has been. I never really did 100% because my husband was a meat eater. Well, my son's a meat eater. Everyone else in my family were eating meat. So yeah, it was clean meat, and it was no hormone, steroids, and all the rest of it. But it's like, to be honest, I knew I wanted to eat more plant-based, but it's just so much work when it's just one person. And so we would do vegetarian meals in between, and then we just do clean meat, and it was all good. Until we had to actually make the changes because of what my husband experienced. And so you never know, you think you're doing really well until you're not, right? And so we get lazy and we get lax. And I say that very in love. We really do, because I know I was before. I would get very, even though those of us that are in this industry and teach this, we still are human, and we're still just like other people. And we still, make poor choices. But you know what I learned in the process, and I'm hoping that you'll take this, especially when we're embarking on more plant food this month, because for many of you, you're not fully plant-based. So it's going to be more of a challenge. And that's good though, because that means that you need to work that muscle that's going to help you to solidify. I'm not even, and I didn't even say you have to be fully plant-based, because I believe people have to be where they're at and they have to decide where they're at, right? It's not my decision to say, well, you need to be, like there's other people that are out there, they're like, nope, it's the only way and that's the way and no one should be anything else. But it doesn't work that way, right? So if I can encourage you and, and just relate with you that it's not always easy, because if you're used to convenience and, it's easy to cook up some meat and some vegetables and there we go. But I believe it's time now for us to go a step higher, to go up wherever all of you are at, take another step up. And it's not going to be easy. It's just not, because anything that's worthwhile is not easy. But I can tell you the benefits are definitely, like I think about pictures I even see of myself a year and a half ago. I mean, I've never been a big person. And I remember, actually, ladies, we're going back here on some testimonies. I remember, this just came to mind because I haven't thought about this in a long time. I remember when I was, 19. I know, I was a kid, but I was 19. Regardless, it's still a testimony. I was 19 and I ate a very high carbohydrate diet. I was living on my own. And to be honest, I was never really taught how to eat properly. Like not what I know now, right? And so what do we do? Even some of us some people in their 40s even still, right? We go for the carbs, right? Because we've got a lot of stress. We were going. I worked, and then I was out at night. Most nights we were out, and this kind of stuff. And that kind of stuff is sugar. It's pure sugar. And the carbohydrates are pure sugar. And I remember moving to London, Ontario, because I was going to school. And I knew if I stayed in Ottawa, I'd be going nowhere fast. And so I had to do something. And I knew that I needed to do more. And the only thing that I loved was health. It was the only thing. So that's when I became a fitness instructor, and that's when I went to school for health and fitness promotions at Fanshawe. But I moved to Fanshawe and I had no friends, which is probably a good thing at the time because I couldn't do any of this. And I changed my eating because I was living with my cousin, and they weren't necessarily healthy, but it was better, right? And I dropped, I'm not kidding you, like 20 pounds. 20 pounds. But because I was so fit and so active, it was very proportionate, and I had thick legs because my background's figure skating. So of course I had built up all that muscle. I worked out a lot. And I remember 20 pounds in a matter of, I don't know, it was probably first quarter, like a very short period of time, because I stopped and I ate better and stopped all the carbs and the sugar. It was crazy. And now, yes, okay, I was 20, going on 21. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you're eating that way, regardless of your age. So I remember holding my pants out was like, whoa. And my friends came to see me after 3 months, and they're like, what the heck happened to you? And then even now, fast forward, because it's been a journey, right? For 18 years. 18 years ago is when I got into this more natural, holistic. It was on my heart. I'm like, you know what? This is what I need to learn, and it resonated with me strong. And so then so even when I say I have had the weight loss stories. Maybe weight loss has never been at the forefront of my mind because I've always been active. So I never really thought of it that way. But it's amazing when you drop inflammation, what changes in your body, right? Because weight is a symptom of other things going on. So when you release weight is like if you're practicing plant-based and you drop weight, it's because your body is alkalizing more. Your body is beginning to heal, which is what it's meant to do. Your body is releasing acids, and acids hold on to the weight. So I just encourage you, and a year and a half ago, even when I look at pictures a year and a half ago, even in my face, you just see inflammation, but you don't know until you're doing better. And then you're like, whoa, I never realized that I could feel better, because you think you feel good now, but there's always, I say to my husband all the time, we can always be better. We can always be improving and getting better. Okay. It never ends. This journey doesn't end. And so anyways, so with Power of Plants, I just encourage you this month. I'm going to, again, like I said, I'm going to jump in and talk about, other pieces just even in this book, because this is such a huge topic. And there's so much more that I can't even cover I've actually been on longer than 30 minutes, and which is what I try not to do, because I don't want to keep you guys here for so long. But I just want to encourage you that just pick one day. If you happen to feel like you're struggling just for one meal even, come in the group and post in the group, and then my the post will be shared, and we can encourage you. Okay, that's what this is for, right? It's not for me to post recipes and just to do that. It's for I want you guys to ask the questions. I want you guys to feel supported. I want you guys to improve, right? Because it's fun, right? It's good to feel much better. So I want you to realize, just from even, a picture speaks 1,000 words. And just by seeing these pictures, right? And I'll show it one last time for those that came on a little late, like the energy of these foods. This is not a talk about organic or not organic, but this just happens to be the picture. But just to kind of give you, like, this is a conventional and this is an organic one, but to show you the energy, right? When you steam or cook, I should just say cook, the vegetables that you're cooking, that energy is, I wanted you to see the vibrance. I'm not saying that we need to eat raw food. I'm not that's not what this is about. It's really about showing you the energy and the vibration that each of our whole foods, like we'll just say produce and plants from produce contains a lot of energy. So, take this month and use those recipes, try those recipes. For those of you with my metabolic reset, definitely, just stay on plan, of course. But yeah, the power of plants, it really is about you putting more plants in and understanding that they can change so much in your body, not because they heal, but they create an environment within your body so that your body can be more powerful and can work better. That's it. And so any questions, definitely let me know. And it's very fascinating, Anna, that is for sure. And if I do find it, Sherry, I will post it. I think I got all these. Never use a microwave. Yeah. When we left I learned about the microwave thing back in my old house when we bought our house, and then we sold that house 4 years ago, and we had a microwave in there. But this is before I knew anything about microwaves. And as soon as I went to a holistic nutrition school, that was like the first year of being in that house, I'm like, no more microwave. And my kids have never, ever seen me use a microwave. Never seen me use a microwave. So, oh, thank you, Melissa. Thank you. If you guys ask a question and I forget to answer it, please remind me. Thank you. Do you recommend juicing as a better alternative to cooking your greens? Yes, and I remember saying that was a good question. So I would say both. Okay, so Dr. Esselstyn is a doctor that we follow because Roger, he was actually one of the doctors, a cardiologist that was on the movie called Game Changers. So if you guys have not seen the movie, since we're talking about plant-based this month, you need to watch Game Changers. You need to watch Game Changers, okay? Like, you need to. Okay, emphasize, okay? So we watched Game Changers, and Dr. Esselstyn was in that book, and he's a cardiologist, and he is a plant-based doctor, and he has he has reversed patients that they were going to have to go get a triple bypass, for the third time. And he said, it's not easy. He said, this is what you're going to do. And are you with me? And they said, yeah, it's either that or I could possibly die. And they completely changed their health around, completely. From, it's like no oils. No, it can be, well, for us, it wasn't too bad because a lot of it we already were doing anyways, but it's not easy. But it's like, you want to live, or you want to have quality life, or live or not die, right? And for him, that's kind of what he was thinking. So he talks about juicing that he says the best way to eat your greens is by chewing them. Because when you chew your food, it actually releases nitric oxide into your bloodstream. And nitric oxide is very important for bringing oxygen to the cells. And it's very important for anyone that has high blood pressure. We need to increase nitric oxide levels. So what I encourage you guys to do is Google, no, sorry, don't Google. Go to DuckDuckGo. You'll get better information there. Do not Google. DuckDuckGo and put in what is nitric oxide, and then just kind of see. It's not tons of information, but you can Google some more about that. Or sorry, DuckDuckGo some more about that. So he says we need to chew to release the nitric oxide. Now remember, he's talking about if we want to keep our health, our heart and our cardiovascular system strong. So he's dealing with heart patients, okay? They need nitric oxide. We all do. But I think the way that we should be looking at it, and I'll go to my next point with your question, Melissa, the way that we need to be looking at is, did you know, ladies, that women actually have a higher chance of heart disease than men? Women do. We don't hear that very often, but women do. So if you are eating more plant-based, majority in the week, over meat, and you're not ready to give up meat, maybe you're not for a while, but you have majority of plant-based and you're not eating meat every day, you are going to decrease your risk of heart disease. Okay, so that's what he says is chewing is better. So Melissa, I would say one meal, I would not do either or. If you're just getting used to it and you're like, man, it's so bitter, do what you need to do to get it in. That's what I believe. Don't just not do it, right? It's better to get it in. But what's going to happen is over time, your body is going to get used to eating, and it's going to get used to that flavor, right? The bitter flavor. Okay, so the other is what you didn't mention, because we go the greens, smoothies here, or sorry, juicing is here, but smoothies are here. So you can have a smoothie because the smoothie has fiber, and we want the fiber from the greens. Okay, so the smoothie has fiber. We need fiber. We need about 50 grams of fiber a day. We are not getting that much. Now, I'm going to give you an example here, and I'm going to give it from my own life because that's the best example, because no one's really ever told me anything like this before. My husband had to have a colonoscopy, and he eats very, very well. Like, I would even say that he probably even eats better than me. And he was having some, I know this is a lot of information, but some bleeding, especially those that know my husband, is, but you know what, we got to share this, because if it can help someone else, just like when I talk about poop all the time, and I have clients and we talk about poop, and the little kids that come in are laughing. I'm like, you guys got to talk about poop in your house. Like, we talk about poop in our house. The kids will show us you got to see this poop. Like, you need to talk about this stuff, because your poop is a sign of what's going on in your body. Okay, I digress. So he was having a bit of rectal bleeding. Now, when you're bleeding from the vaginal end, that's normal, as long as it's at that time of the month, right? The other end, not so much. And we knew that there was nothing serious. It was like, I'm like, there is no way with how you eat. There is absolutely no way, in the kind of water you drink and all of like the different, like the supplements, whatever, there's no way there's anything wrong. Like, we didn't think that, but we're like, what's going on with this bleeding? Goes to the colonoscopy doctor, and he's like, yeah, you're totally good. He said, it's just, you need more fiber. I'm like, you need more fiber? Like, oh my gosh. And so since he's been having more fiber, which is more coming from flax and chia and hemp seeds, and he's just more conscious of it. Ladies, when you're more conscious of it, that is the key. Conscious of it. This month, you're being conscious of eating more plant food, of eating at least one meal, maybe 2 meals of plant food. Okay, you're conscious of it. You're going to make more of an effort when you're conscious of it. So I just think to myself, and I say that because we're not getting enough fiber. We need like 50 grams. We're not counting it, but we need to make sure we're adding in the chia, we're adding in the hemp, we're getting more dark leafy greens. So, you know, if you're juicing, that brings me to my long answer here, Melissa, of the juicing, you're not going to get the fiber. If you're making a smoothie, you're going to chew your smoothie. So it's going to be thick. You're going to get all the fiber. You're going to make sure it's not tons of fruit, but it's lots of greens and celery and cucumber and all of that. And the greens are there just to make it more palatable. Then you're going to get the fiber. Okay, but you want to suck it in and then you want to chew it, right? You don't want to just suck it back. Chewing is better because it gets the enzymes going and it actually allows you to absorb better. Now, the juicing is not a bad thing. However, there's many different schools of thought, and this is my school of thought. I like to kind of come center in the road. Okay, I don't want to be extreme over here. Like, you can't eat bananas. You can't eat, like, raw food people don't eat beans. But beans have a lot of goodness, right? Like, so I like to come into the center, and I'm not just one way. So juicing is fine. I like to do juicing on the weekend because it's less, I have more time to clean up. And so, are you going to do juicing over smoothies? I wouldn't say so, no. I would say have a combination of all three. Don't just juice. Because juice is micronutrition, right? So don't just juice, don't just do smoothies, do a mixture. That's what I believe. Like, maybe you have a smoothie during the week for breakfast and it's loaded, right? Yes, you're welcome, Melissa. Thanks for joining. So mix it up. Okay, that was an awesome question. Ladies, keep on asking the questions, because when you guys ask the questions like the one Melissa asked, this is an opportunity. As you can see, I really get into it and the answer is like 10 minutes. But you guys get to hear additional, right? You know, I wasn't planning on talking about that, right? But I want you guys to ask the questions, because then it opens up opportunity for me to go into stuff like this. That I honestly, ladies, sometimes I don't even think about the juicing versus the smoothie question, but you guys have amazing questions, and I ask them because that's what I want to do. So that is our chat today, and wowee, that was almost 1 hour. I apologize. For me, it's always about just keeping it to 30 minutes, because I know people have lives and sometimes you can't be on with me for a whole 1 hour, and I get it. So I just want to give you the goods and leave, but I also want to make sure that you guys get what you need. Okay, so any more questions, definitely below. If you're watching by replay, hit hashtag replay. Let me know you were here. Let me know how this information has helped you, and what is your action step. Okay, I want to know what your action step is. And for those of you that want to know more about my Shred 10, that's happening not next week, but the week after, because I have a number of people that have been coming. I've been setting up to get them started on that. And so if you're interested in learning more, please let me know. If you're listening by replay or if you're on live with me, I'm more than happy to DM you, share more information. It's getting back into the basics. We need to get back into the basics. So let me know. Have an amazing day, and make sure you get outside. It's sunny out here where we are in the GTA. I'm going to go for a walk, and then I'm going to jump on Instagram, and oh my gosh, it's 12 o'clock and there's so much to do. So have an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.